Hello, everybody. Dr. F. Scott Field here, and I'd like to introduce you to our newest sponsor. The NPTE Final Frontier is the review course that I wish was around when I took the board exam. For those of you who know my story, it took me a handful of times to pass that exam, and quite frankly, I really wish I had an exam review course around, just like the NPTE Final Frontier. Check out their website, npteff.com, and use the code HET at checkout for 10% off to all of our listeners and fans.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Healthcare Education Transformation Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Dawn Brown, and I am bringing you another Teach Me Something Tuesday. Today, we are going to talk about how to be a great leader. A title does not make a leader. Actions do. And many of you have heard this phrase or a version of it somewhere in your life, and it is true. Far too often, leaders get caught up in titles and the power that comes with their positions, which inevitably leads to disgruntled team members and essentially ineffective teams. There is a significant need to initiate leadership skills and cultivate leaders at the student level. So, students, this podcast is for you. I know that the last thing most of you students want is to assume a leadership position and add more responsibility to your plates during the 2 to 3 years that you're in a physical therapy program. But your physical therapy program, the Physical Therapy Association, they need your leadership, and you can become that great leader that our profession needs. Some of you may shy away from leadership because your plates are full, and I understand this. You got school, your personal life, but sometimes there might be others of you that step back because you don't know how to be a good leader, let alone be a great leader. And I get it. You would rather stay in the background. I used to be like that when I was a student until I realized my ability, and better yet, my capability as a leader toward driving change in our profession, first as a student, much like you all, but then as a clinician and an educator. So if you're in that latter camp where you want to be a leader, but you don't know quite how to do it, well, I have some good news for you. You can become a great leader. All it takes is a decision to try. So here are 5 steps that I think will pave your pathway to becoming a great leader in our profession. The first step is for you to recognize that leadership is a process. You develop leadership knowledge and skills over time, and you continue to develop them forever. The second step is to be self-aware. Do you, as a student, know what your strengths are, and particularly your strengths as a leader? Can you admit your weaknesses? Can you ask for help when you need it? Do you know how your lived experiences shape how you lead and interact with people, especially when these people may have different sociocultural identities, lived experiences, and perspectives, or even have knowledge and skills that might exceed your own? The third step is to be an identity conscious leader. And what does that mean? Well, I'm glad you asked. Know the people that you are leading. You may think that you know your classmates from discussions in class on the course material, but do you really? Among the first steps in leadership is to know who is on your team. That means their sociocultural identities, their lived experiences, their perspectives, and how that will shape how they contribute to your team and help the team achieve its goals. The fourth step is to be a servant leader. You have to recognize that being a leader and leadership is not about you. It's not about your title. It's not about the accolades that might come with your title. Leadership is about serving those people that you lead, being able to inspire them to want to be part of your team and put forth their best effort, encouraging them when things go wrong, and trust me, they will, and then being able to empower your team when members can't see their full potential. And the fifth part is be daring. In the words of one of my favorite leadership authors, Brené Brown, be a daring leader. Sit back and think to yourselves, are you willing to step up and be vulnerable when your team needs you the most, or when you're unsure of the outcomes? If members of your team aren't performing their share of their responsibilities, can you, as a leader, have tough conversations to get them motivated and action-oriented? If members on your team don't get along, can you manage the conflict and create an amicable working environment? All of these take courage. So to be a great leader, be able to lean into your courage and be brave. Even the best leaders fail, especially when they're trying to keep their teams together. But great leaders get back up, dust themselves off, and try again with their team. So I encourage you, students, to step up to leadership. It may seem daunting at first, but trust me, it's rewarding as you change lives and change circumstances. Our physical therapy profession needs your leadership now and when you are licensed. I hope this information on how to be a great leader was helpful, and we will see you on the next Teach Me Something Tuesday.